Super. So thanks very much for joining me this morning, guys. We are all about the heart and hips this week. So I think I was mentioning the last class I had with you about, I used to call the class kind of heart and hip openers, whereas it was kind of deceiving because really to open one part of the body, we're closing another. So really, if we're working into, and we talk about heart and hip openers, really we're talking about creating space into the chest and space into the hip complex. But also in doing that, we need to engage the back of the body. So we need to close the other part. So we're talking about strengthening into the spine, particularly the upper back and the lower back. I mean, we kind of work the whole complex, to be honest. And then strengthening into our hip muscles and particularly our glutes. Okay, so it's not just about creating space, because we could create all that lovely space, but if we don't engage the muscles, the opposing muscles to hold that space, then we're just going to return into that kind of hunched over position. Okay, so it's about maintaining what you do on the mat and trying to bring that with you kind of into your day. So we're going to start an easy cross-legged. And again, if it's not so easy for you, feel free to take a couple of cushions, put it underneath the knees, just allow the knees to drop out. Again, I will encourage you to come into easy cross-legged, just particularly because we are working into the hips this morning. If it's really not accessible, do please sit back on your heels and, you know, make it as comfortable as you can. And then from here, I just want you to feel your sit bones grounded into the earth. So we're not doing anything with the hands yet. And then just draw the chest forward, draw the shoulders back. Notice if the ribs are flaring a little bit here, we're going to tuck that belly button toward the back of the spine. And then we're going to rest the palms open. And again, if already you kind of feel you're slumping into the lower back, again, you can take another little bit of a towel or a cushion and just prop those sit bones forward. So we're trying to create space just even in the seat here. Again, imagining that piece of string attached to the crown of your head, drawing your spine nice and long. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling. And as we exhale, press the palms forward and really stretch between the shoulder blades. And we'll do that twice more. Nice big circular breaths, taking the gaze up. And then exhale, press forward and release. One more. See if we can draw those arms right back by the ears, really opening into the heart here. And then exhale, press forward and release. We're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling. This time as we exhale, we're going to press those palms forward as far as they will go, lengthening from the lower back. So try to keep the spine long, the arms long, press, press, press as far as we can go. We can't go any further. We're going to rest the hands or fingertips down onto the ground. And then from here, we're going to draw the chest forward, draw the shoulders back. And as we exhale, see if we can sink those fingertips forward a little bit more as we fall forward into our fold. And again, with that connection of the hands or fingertips on the ground, we're going to press the ground away. See if we can get those sit bones to come back to the earth a little bit more. And you can just shift the hips side to side, gently coaxing that length into the spine. Again, as we inhale, lengthen the spine. And as we exhale, fall forward a little bit deeper. Relax the head, relax the neck. And again, don't get too caught up on how far forward you're folding. Once you're feeling a little release into one of the glutes, nice little bit of space down the spine and between the shoulder blades, that's exactly where you need to be. So don't force it. One more breath here. Again, try to get a little bit more length in that spine, really press the ground away, and then gently we're going to tuck the chin in, slowly walk the hands back toward the body and then come back up to seat. We're going to reverse the crisscrossing legs just to bring it into the opposite glute. And again, opening those palms to the ceiling, sitting nice and tall. We're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling, and again, exhale, press those palms forward, really stretch through the spine, all the way until we can't stretch any further, and then rest those hands down onto the ground. If you can come up onto the fingertips, it just allows you a little bit more friction to the ground here. As we inhale, we're going to draw the chest forward, draw the shoulders back, and as we exhale, see if we can hinge a little bit closer toward the ground. Again, use that friction with the fingertips on the ground to press the ground away and really draw those sit bones back. So again, feel that release into the glute, the spine between the shoulders, relax the head and neck. And again, not battling with how far forward you're folding. So depending on what we were doing for this week, what we were doing for a lifetime, even just our own bone structure, we're all going to be totally different here. So once you're feeling that release, that's exactly what you need. One more breath here. Again, try to create a little bit more space in that lower back. Exhale, release. And then gently inhale, tuck the chin in, and then slowly, slowly roll it back to center. Lovely. From here, we're going to hug the right knee in. We're going to rest that right foot into the left hand, right knee into the right hand, and then we're going to draw that toe toward the knee to keep that right knee protected. Again, if you can, we might draw the shin a little bit higher in line with the chest, but if you're kind of sinking into the lower back, just keep the foot where it's at. So important to keep that length in the spine, that strength in the core. And then we're going to just gently rock into that right hip. Really easy, just nice little gentle mobilization, but do try to get your full range if you can. So again, we're not forcing it. Those hands are just supporting the movement, aiding the movement. But again, we're not kind of pulling ourselves into it. So just go where it feels good. Nice little wake up for the hip. And again, without any load. Nice way, just warming up into the joint. And if you're particularly tight in the hips, these gentle mobilizers can just be a nice little introduction to getting that extra little bit of space that we need to even just to activate into the muscles. Last one, wherever we're at. And then coming back to center, we can either come back into easy cross-legged with the right foot in front, or if you're feeling a little bit more spacious this morning, we're going to rest that right foot just on top of the left knee, and maybe rest that right knee on top of the left foot. Now, if the hips are quite tight, or a little bit tight even, that knee is going to pop up here. So you can always place a little cushioning underneath just to take the weight. If it's hovering in space a little bit and it doesn't feel stressful on the knee, you're fine here. So again, easy cross-legged, we're just resting the hands on the knees. If we're in log pose, we're pressing the toes toward the knees. So we're just getting a little bit deeper. Again, we're going to inhale, lengthen through the spine. And as we exhale, we're going to press the chest forward. So again, we're not looking at touching the ground here, almost imagining that there's a piece of string attached to your chest this time, and it's drawing you forward to the front of the room. So we're inhaling, lengthening, exhale, maybe a little bit deeper. Relax the head and neck here. Again, we should feel this quite deep into one of the glutes. It'll be the right glute if you've got that right leg out in front. One more breath here, hinging as deeply as feels good. And then gently, we're going to inhale back to center. Lovely. Hug that right knee in, and then we're going to replace it. This time, we're going to pick that left foot up. We're going to place the left foot into the right hand, left knee into the left hand. Again, drawing the toe toward the knee. Sit nice and tall into the spine. See if we can bring the shin a little bit higher, almost in line with the chest. And then gently, we're going to rock into that left hip. Nice and slowly, getting that full range, but not forcing it. So even though we're creating space, we're mobilizing, over time you're going to really start to feel those little muscles engage around the hip. So it becomes both a mobilizer and an activator without us really having to do much work. Again, just enjoy that movement, enjoy that space, and just even notice how it feels from the other side. Just touching in with those little imbalances early before they become that niggle or that injury. Last one, we're going to return to center. And again, from here, we can either come into easy cross-legged with the left foot in front, or we can place that left foot onto the right knee and that left knee onto the right foot. So creating nice square angles here, or log pose. Again, if you're in easy cross-legged, hands are on the knees. Otherwise, we're pressing the toes toward the knees, just helps create a little bit of space into those knees, a little bit of activation here. So we're going to inhale, lengthen tall. And as we exhale again, press the chest forward. So again, we mightn't hinge that far forward at all, that's fine. You're going to feel this into the hips, more so in the left, but also in the right. Again, draw those shoulders back. Try to maintain that length and strength in the core. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold a little bit more. Relax the head and neck for the last couple of breaths. Again, just allow the tension melt out of the back of the neck here. One more breath. And then gently, we're going to inhale it back to center. Lovely. From here, we are going to cross the left leg over the right, and then we're going to see if we can gently shift that right heel back toward the left sit bone. So a little bit of a twist here. And then from here, see if we can stack that left knee on top of the right or as close as we can go and draw the toes together. Again, if it's still not accessible, feel free to come back into easy cross-legged. So easy cross-legged, you're still getting into those hips. So don't feel that you're copping out in easy cross-legged. It's still a lovely hip. These are just getting a little bit deeper. From here, we're going to bring the arms out in front. We're going to bring the right arm underneath the left, and then we're going to bend at the elbows as far toward the chest as we can, and then we're going to interlock at the wrists, and then we can either catch hold of a thumb, a hand, maybe come to prayer hands, or maybe even interlock with all the fingers into a little grip. From here, we're going to draw the shoulders right down the spine, and as we exhale, we're going to draw those elbows up in line with the chest, or maybe even a little bit higher, and then press the hands forward. So feel a nice stretch between the shoulder blades. We should feel this quite deeply into the hips if we're in the same seat as I am. Again, we're going to inhale, lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, gently hinge forward. Again, really pressing the elbows forward this time. And just go with the fold. See if we can tuck that belly button in just to create a wee bit more space for that fold. Really grinding those sit bones back. Relax the head, relax the neck for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale back to center. From here, a little back bend. We're going to see if we can lift those hands a little bit closer toward the ceiling and take the gaze up for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently release the arms and let it go. We're going to hug the left knee in, hug the right knee into meet it, and now we're going to place that left foot underneath the right. So we're bringing the left heel nice and close to the right sit bone. We're going to cross the right leg over the left as much as we can, and then we're going to see if we can stack that right knee on top of the left. So again, if it's not accessible, easy cross-legged all the way. You can work toward this when the hips get a little bit looser. Again, looser, I hate that word. A little bit more mobile. We can draw those toes toward the knees here again, just to keep those knees protected. And again, extend the arms out in front. For this time, we're going to cross the left arm underneath the right. Bend at the elbows and see if we can bring that bend a little bit closer in toward the chest. And then we're going to either crisscross at the wrists, catch hold of a thumb, a hand, maybe prayer hands, or maybe interlock the fingers here. From here, we're going to draw those shoulder blades back together down the spine, and then gently draw those elbows up in line with the chest, in line with the chin, maybe even a little bit higher. And then press the hands forward so we feel that lovely release between the shoulder blades. Again, don't force it. This should just feel like a nice release. We're going to inhale here, lengthen through the spine, and as we exhale, again, we're going to press that chest forward as we gently fold forward. Elbows coming forward of the knees here. Again, tuck the belly button in just to create a wee bit more space. Relax the head, relax the neck for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently tuck the chin in, slowly come back up to center. Little back bend, we're going to reach those hands as high as we can toward the ceiling, taking the gaze up for 3, reach for 2, and 1, and then gently release the arms and let them go. Lovely. We're going to hug the right knee in, place the foot down, hug the left knee in, place the foot down, and we're going to come to lie back on our mat. Just make sure you have a towel within reach here. So again, feet are flat, knees are bent. Just feel that lower back pressing into the ground here. Feel that full connection. We're going to hold that right knee in toward the chest and then rest the right ankle just above the left knee coming into our figure 4. So we're going to keep that lower back engaged, drawing the right toe toward the knee and engaging that right glute to really press that right knee away from us. And that might be as far as we need to go this morning. If you want to go a little bit deeper into the left then, we're going to lift the left foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling, interlocking hands or towel around the back of that left hamstring. So if you find you're rolling into the chest or your lower back's coming off the ground, you can reach for your towel here, wrap it around the back of that left hamstring, and it just allows a little bit more extension along the arms so you can really open up into the heart and reconnect the spine to the mat. As we inhale, thinking about opening the heart, connecting the full length of the spine to the ground. And as we exhale, see if we can draw that left knee a little bit closer toward the body as we work that right knee away from the body. We shouldn't be feeling this in the right knee, so keep that right toe working toward the knee, keep that foot nice and active. And if we're still feeling it in the knee, come out of the pose just a little bit. So this is for the hips, not the knees. And we're just going to pause here for a couple of more breaths. Again, using the breath every exhale, getting a little bit deeper. One more breath. Lovely. And then gently, we're going to release that left foot down onto the ground. Staying in our figure four, we're going to place the hands flat to the mat, fingertips point toward the front of the mat. See if you can brush the back of that left heel with the fingertips. We're setting up for bridge, so if you know already this is too strong, feel free to come into your traditional bridge with both feet on the ground. Otherwise, we're going to inhale, draw the lower back, middle back, upper back off the ground. We're going to work those shoulder blades together underneath the upper back. Press the arms and hands and shoulders into the ground, so we're taking all the pressure off the neck. See if we can press those hips a little bit closer toward the ceiling. Keep the right foot active. Keep drawing that right knee now toward the ground. And really pressing that left foot into the ground. If we're working a little bit more into our hamstrings, we can bring that pressure more so into the left heel. And you're going to feel that left hamstring and glute really fire here. As we inhale, press the hips toward the ceiling. And as we exhale, gently lower until we're about an inch off the ground. Inhale, press up, feel lower back, core engage. Exhale, gently lower, really slow movement here. Inhale up, as high as we can go. Exhale, gently lower. 3 more to your own breath. Again, we're feeling hamstring, glutes, lower back, abdominals. A little bit of space into the hips, so loads of things happening here. Last one. And then gently release all the way down onto the ground. We're going to hug that right knee into the chest, and we're going to keep the left hand on the shin. From here, we're going to get the left heel, and we're going to bring it, we're going to drop the left knee down, and we're going to bring that left heel as close as we can to the right bum cheek. Okay, so we're going for a little quad stretch here with our hip release. Okay, so left hand stays in the shin. That might be enough. You might be feeling this into the quad on the left side. If you want to go a little bit deeper, we can get that right hand and catch hold of the left foot. And we might even bring that right leg across the body and take the gaze over the right shoulder. So this is a nice little hip release, but we're also working into that left quad. Again, keep that right shoulder grounded. Take just a few more breaths here. So again, if you want, you can always place that left hand on the outer right thigh, bringing yourself a little bit deeper into that twist. And again, if you're not catching hold of that foot, it's quite okay. You're still going to be working into that quad stretch. So again, it's somewhere where you could use a towel, you could hook it around the foot if you really wanted to get into that space. For 2 and 1. We're going to gently come back to center. Hug the right knee in, bring that left foot back onto the ground, knee still bent, and we're going to cross the right leg over the left. Extending both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. We're going to shift the hips to the right and then allow both knees drop over to the left, coming into a nice little spinal release here. Gaze goes over the right fingertips. Again, notice if the knees aren't falling that easily. We can always shift the hips a wee bit more to the right, creating a little bit extra space for those knees to fall. So that right hip bone is stacked on top of the left. Shoulders and arms are literally glued to the mat here, so feel that space into the chest. We're going to inhale, draw the breath as deep as we can into the belly. And as we exhale, really twisting deeply from the lower back, the rib cage, the chest, and again all the way out through the neck. One more breath here. It's a nice spinal release, but also releasing into that right glute. And then gently, gently drawing it back to center. We're going to uncross the legs, feet are flat, knees are bent. We're going to hug that left knee in toward the chest, give a nice little squeeze. And then we're going to rest that left ankle just above the right knee, coming into our figure 4. Again, drawing the toe toward the knee, pressing that left knee away, using that glute activation. So not using the hands here at all. And again, that might be as far as we need to go this morning. Just keep that lower back pressed into the ground. If we want to go a little bit further, we're going to lift the right foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling, and then either interlocking the hands or towel around the back of that right hamstring. Again, notice if we're curling into the chest. So we want to really walk those shoulder blades together, engage those shoulder muscles to create space into the chest. As we exhale, see if we can work that right knee a little bit closer toward the face as we work that left knee away from the body. Keep the elbows nice and tight, tucked into the waist here. So just work with your own breath. See how it feels. Even move in the pose until you find that nice little comfort spot, or where you feel the best release into that left glute. And again, left foot is active, right foot is relaxed, but the shin is parallel to the ceiling. So try not to allow that right foot drop altogether. Keep that slight engagement. One more breath. And then gently release that right foot down, staying in our figure four, hands flat to the mat, fingertips point to the front. See if you can brush the back of that right heel with the fingertips. Again, traditional bridge with both feet, if that feels better for you this morning. Otherwise, staying in our figure four, we're going to inhale, peel the lower back, middle back, upper back off the ground, lifting those hips. We're going to walk those shoulder blades together underneath the upper back, placing any pressure into the arms and shoulders and taking that pressure out of the neck. Pressing the right foot into the ground. If we're concentrating or focusing on a bit of hamstring development, we can press the heel into the ground more so. As we inhale, press those hips a little bit higher, allow that left knee drop down. And as we exhale, gently lower toward the ground until we're about an inch, half an inch off the ground. Inhale, press up with control. Exhale, gently lower. Keep pressing that right foot into the ground. Inhale, rise. Exhale, gently lower. 3 more to your own breath. Again, slow control movement. Try to get those hips as high as we can. Keep those tummy muscles engaged at all times here. So we're working both into the front and the back of the body. Last one. Excellent. Slowly lower all the way down onto the ground. And then we're going to hug that left knee in. Keep the right hand on the left shin. We're going to bend the right knee and bring that right heel. So the right knee is dropping toward the ground. We're bringing that right heel back toward the left bum cheek as much as we can. Again, don't force it. And that might be enough. We should feel a nice release into the right quad, a little bit into the hip. Again, if you want to go a little bit further, we're going to catch hold of that right foot with the left hand. You might need to shift your hips around a little bit here. And then we might bring that left leg across the body, taking the gaze over the left shoulder. We might even bring that right hand to the outer left thigh so we can draw ourselves a wee bit more into that twist. So we're drawing the right foot to the left and the left leg to the right. And we're just going to hold it here for a couple of breaths. Again, don't worry if you're not catching hold of that foot. It's just allowing us to get a wee bit deeper, but you're still getting that lovely stretch. And it's a nice active stretch as well. One more breath here. Excellent. And then we're going to slowly come back to center. Keep that left knee hugged in, bringing that right foot back flat onto the mat. We're going to cross the left leg over the right, extending both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. We're going to shift the hips a little bit to the left and then allow both knees drop over to the right, coming into our spinal twist again. Taking the gaze over the left shoulder this time, keeping both arms, shoulders grounded to the mat, maybe even working those shoulder blades together. Really feel that space into the chest. Again, if you need to shift the hips a little bit more to the left, allow those knees drop over. Feel that lovely release into the left glute. As we inhale, draw the breath as deep as we can into the belly. And as we exhale, again, twisting from lower back, middle back, chest, and again, all the way out through the neck. Use that full body breath engagement. As you exhale, really pressing every last little bit of air out of the body, really activating those abdominals to get that release. One more breath. And then gently, we're going to inhale back to center nice and slowly. Uncross the legs. We're going to hug both knees in toward the chest, resting the hands onto the shins. Reconnecting that lower back to the ground. We're going to inhale here, hugging the knees in. And as we exhale, we're going to draw both knees outside the line of the body. setting up for our happy baby. So again, just make sure that lower back is grounded so we're not rocking and rolling. If that feels good, we can come into our full happy baby. So we're going to try to bring the soles of the feet almost parallel to the ceiling, either holding on to shins, calves, ankles, inner arches of the feet, or interlocking the middle and index finger around the big toes. Now, if those hands are right back by the feet, but we're rocking and rolling on that lower back, just bring those hands a little bit closer back toward the knees until you can reconnect that lower back. So when we're going into our hips, we want to make sure that lower back's nice and strong, nice and stable. From here, we're going to press the soles of the feet up toward the ceiling as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to draw those knees down toward the ground beside us. So inhale, press up. And exhale, draw down. Continue with your own breath. Again, if we can, get the shins a little bit wider. But again, don't force it. So if it's feeling too strong, just bring the heels a little bit closer toward each other. If we're quite open, we might even bring the elbows inside the knees just as an extra little prop. But again, don't force it. Feeling this in the hips and hamstrings. One more breath. Try to get a little bit more space here. And then release the grip. We're going to hug both knees into the chest, crisscross the ankles. You can come right up into seat nice and slowly, or we can take 3 or 4 rolls forward and back along the mat, using that motion to really massage the full length of the spine into the ground, from top to bottom. And when we've taken our 3 or 4 rolls, we're going to engage with those core muscles to strongly bring ourselves up to seat. Lovely. From here, coming on to hands and knees and setting up for our tabletop. Okay, so we've got shoulders over elbows over wrists, elbow creases face forward. Really spread through those fingers. So nice strong root foundation here. We're going to press the hands into the ground until we feel those shoulders engage. Knees are about hip width distance apart and hips are stacked over the knees. Tuck the toes if the knees feel cranky, otherwise flatten out through the feet. Notice if the belly's kind of gotten a bit lazy here, we're going to tuck that belly button right back toward the spine. Feel the abdominals engage, feel the lower back release. And a few little cat-cow curls here. So we're going to inhale, draw the gaze forward, up, arching the spine. Exhale, press into the ground, curl through the spine, take the gaze back toward the belly as we press the ground away. Inhale, gaze forward and up. Little tuck to the elbows. Exhale, press the ground away, tuck that chin right into the chest. So again, just continuing that motion front to back. Focusing on creating as much space, the full length of the spine as we can. Feel that lovely space into the chest, in between the shoulders, lower back, core. And again, just bring that movement wherever it feels best. If it's particularly tight or niggly in one spot, maybe take an extra breath or 2 into that spot. So just pause in that place. And when you're ready, we're going to gently come back to center. Lovely. And then from here, we're going to do a little bit of glute activation. So the hands are going to stay where they're at. Just keep checking in those wrists are underneath the shoulders and we're not dumping back into the joints. From here, we're going to press that right foot back, nice and active through the right leg. And then we're going to bend the right knee and press the sole of the foot up toward the ceiling. Again, notice here if the belly's dropped, tuck that belly button right back toward the back of the spine. And again, we might need to re-engage that right leg to get that lift. So feel the hamstring, feel the glute activate here as we press the sole of the foot toward the ceiling. And then from here, we're going to rotate that right hip open. Keep the knee high, keep the foot high. Try and keep both hands grounded evenly here. So we're just working in that lower quadrant here. Again, we're going to press the sole of the foot as far to the left as we can. Feel that engagement, feel that release. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale, draw the right knee forward toward the right elbow. And as we exhale, we're going to press the foot back into its starting position. Rotate the hip. Inhale, right knee forward toward the elbow. Exhale, press it back. Sole of the foot toward the ceiling. Rotate. Continue with your own breath. So slow, controlled movement. I want you to imagine there's a box out to your right and you're trying to draw that leg over the box without touching it with your knee or your foot. So keep the foot high, keep the knee high as we work into that hip. Keep working with that rotation as well. So we're getting right into all corners of the hip here. The more these you do, the more you're going to feel those muscles fatigue. We'll engage first and then fatigue. Last one, wherever we're at, slow, controlled movements. And then returning back to our starting position. Sole of the foot parallel to the ceiling. We're going to inhale, draw the right knee toward the nose as we tuck in. And then exhale, press it back as we take the gaze forward. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, press it back, open the heart, take the gaze up. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, press it back and lift the sole of the foot. 2 more. Core engagement, engaging that lower back, that glute, that hamstring. Last one. Back into our start, and then we're going to land on the ball of that right foot. Press back through the heel, just feel that nice release, resting into the back of the leg for 3, for 2, and 1. Right knee comes to meet left. You can give the hands a little shake out. Again, try to keep touching in, those shoulders are over the wrists. From here, we're going to press back through the left foot. Feel nice and balanced in the front of the body. So if you need to shift the hands left to right until you feel that stability. From here, we're going to bend the left knee. Press the sole of the foot toward the ceiling. Again, tuck that belly button toward the back of the spine. Re-engage the left glute to get that leg to press up. And again, we might just hold it here. That might be enough. We might even just pulse into the foot. That might be enough. Otherwise, we're going to rotate that left hip open. Pressing back through the sole of the foot. Again, knee is high, foot is high as we can go. Keep the front of the body even, nice and level. From here, we're going to inhale. Draw the left knee forward toward the elbow. And as we exhale, rotate, press it back, sole of the foot toward the ceiling. Rotate the hip open. Inhale, knee to elbow. Exhale, press it back, lift and rotate. Again, continue to your own breath. You can break down the movement into 3 parts, or you can make it as smooth as you wish. Your choice. Again, notice if the belly's dropping here, keep trying to tuck that belly button toward the back of the spine. So full core engagement so that we can really access those lower back muscles in the movement. So if we're not engaging those tummy muscles, we're just going to be compressing into that lower back. Whereas this is a lovely little sequence that we can actually work into engaging those lower back muscles. Again, full movement. Notice how it feels compared to the other side. Last rotation. Meeting back in space, pressing the sole of the foot toward the ceiling. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, draw the left knee in toward the nose, tuck in. Exhale, press the foot back, gaze goes forward, press the sole of the foot toward the ceiling. Inhale, knee to nose, curl through the spine. Exhale, heart is open, press back through the foot. Inhale, knee to nose, keep the tummy engaged. Exhale, press it back. 2 more. Last one. And then from here, gently releasing onto the ball of the left foot. Press away through that left heel. Hold for 3. Release for 2. And 1. Bringing that left knee back to meet right. Toes are together. We're just going to sit back onto the heels, pressing the ground away out front. So reaching those hands forward and just resting the head down. And then bringing those hands back by the feet. Just coming into a nice little relaxed child's pose here. Resting the arms, allowing those shoulders melt toward the ground. Maybe wriggling through the wrists again if you have felt any tension in the wrists. And just releasing into those glutes. Maybe shimmying the hips side to side. Relax the breath. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring those hands right back out in front. Coming back up onto hands and knees. Hands are a little bit further forward of the body. We're going to tuck the toes under. Sit back toward the heels. Feel that lovely stretch into the arches of the feet. And from here, we're going to press the ground away. Gently hover the knees off the ground. Lift the hips toward the ceiling.
and then drop those heels down toward the ground, coming into a nice little downward dog here. So we're pressing the ground away, actively drawing the chest toward the mat, drawing those shoulder blades together. Lift the hips a little bit higher, engage those leg muscles, and slowly draw those heels down. Feet are about hip width distance apart. Head and neck is relaxed, gaze is back toward the knees, and we're just going to gently paddle out the feet. So allow opposite heels melt toward the ground, nice and slowly, just kneading it out. Keep that tummy tucked in. So really think about drawing that belly button right back in toward the spine. And then we're going to look forward between the hands, gently walk our way to the front of the mat, coming through a nice deep forward fold. So knees are gently bent, rest the head, the arms, the neck, shoulders, everything making its way toward the ground. Release the lower back, just rest the belly onto the legs. Relax the head for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently tuck the chin in. We're going to slowly rise away all the way up to stand. Head comes up last. Well done. Take a little drink here if you need. We're going to get a little bit more flowy for the rest of the class. Hopefully finishing with a little bit more restorative pose into the hips. So again, when you're ready, so what we're going to work with, we're going to go through our traditional sun salutation, and then we're going to do add-ons to work a little bit more into our hip and heart area. So again, coming to the front, feet nicely grounded, about hip width distance apart, hands to heart. Press the chest forward, draw the shoulders back. Again, notice if the ribs are flaring, tuck that belly button toward the back of the spine, feel that lower back release. We're going to inhale, arms out, reach it up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins, nice flat back. Really draw those shoulders back. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge, left foot to meet it. We're going to hold it here in a nice strong plank. Come to the knees if you know this is too strong. Just keep the core strong, spine long. We're pressing the ground away. Shoulders over elbows over wrists. Elbow creases face forward. And see if we can really press that through the heels here. If the knees are on the ground, nice straight line from the base of the neck to the knees. If the knees are off the ground, nice straight line from the base of the neck to the heels. For 3, for 2, and 1. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the mat. Elbows in, roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground, draw those shoulder blades back together. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away. Downward dog. Lift those hips, walk those feet out. Again, gazes back, relax the head, relax the neck. Try not to look forward if you can in your upward dog, so you can really release into the chest and engage those shoulder muscles. And again, just gently paddling out the feet. Feel that nice release into the backs of the legs. Coming to stillness here in downward dog. We're going to inhale, right leg up, looking forward. Stepping right foot into lunge in as many steps as you need. Left foot to meet it. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge. Right foot to meet it. Again, nice strong plank here. Notice if the hips have dropped, if the bum's popped up in the air, bring that nice straight line back. Press the ground away. So you shouldn't feel any pressure in the shoulders here. Just engage them. For 3, for 2, and 1. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground, elbows in, roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground, lift the chest. Exhale, press the ground away, tuck the toes. Back into downward dog. Walk it out, nice and easy. Again, keep thinking about pressing those hips toward the ceiling so we feel that nice little bit of space into the lower back. And again, feet are about hip width distance apart, maybe even a little bit wider if it feels better for you. So again, listen to what feels good. Coming to stillness, we're going to inhale, left leg up, looking forward, stepping left foot into lunge. Right foot to meet it, exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center, hands extended up. Exhale, hands to heart. Second round, when you're ready. Feet nicely grounded, hip width distance apart, hands to heart. Relax those shoulder blades together down the spine. Engage the tummy muscles, the leg muscles, the glutes. A little bit of springiness to the knees here. We're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge. We're going to keep the right hand grounded. So we can stay off that knee if it feels good, otherwise drop to the right knee. Inhale, left arm up, opening the heart. Really drawing that left shoulder back. Pressing back through the heel if the knee's lifted. We're going to bend the left elbow. Bring the back of the hand to the flat of the lower back and gently use that connection to open the heart a little bit more. Maybe taking the gaze up. Press back through that heel for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently releasing the left hand back to the right. We're going to release that right knee down if it's not there already. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to stay here for a couple of more breaths. So just notice if we're back bending, we're going to tuck that belly button in, feel the lower back release. If that right knee feels a little bit cranky, you can always place a towel underneath it to take that pressure. You might need to shift the left foot out a little bit till you feel a wee bit more space into the hips. We're going to inhale, lengthen here through the spine. As we exhale, allow those hips sink a little bit deeper, but try to keep that left knee over the left ankle. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. 3 more. Inhale, lengthen. Engage the hips. Exhale, lower and release. 2 more. Getting a little bit deeper each time, but using that muscle engagement as we inhale. Last one. Lovely. Bringing both hands either side of the left foot. Coming off that right knee, step the left foot back to meet right. Inhale here and plank for 3. Nice and strong for 2. And 1. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground, roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground, draw those elbows in. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away, downward dog. Walk it out, nice and easy. Coming to stillness here, we're going to inhale the right leg up, bend the right knee, open the hips to the right side of the room. So really pressing the sole of that right foot to the left. We should be able to look underneath that left armpit and see that right foot hanging out. See if we can draw the left heel down a little bit more and lift that right knee a little bit higher. Press both arms into the ground evenly. Lift that knee for 3. A little bit higher for 2. And 1. Back into 3-legged dog. Look forward between the hands. We're going to step that right foot into lunge. Drop the left knee down. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Bringing both hands to frame that right foot. With control, we're going to gently bring that left foot up to meet right. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center. Hands extended up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge. Left hand stays in the ground. We can drop the left knee down if it feels better. We're going to inhale the right arm up toward the ceiling, opening the heart, really reaching through the fingertips. Engage that right shoulder muscle to open the heart a wee bit more. If the knee's off the ground, pressing back through the heel. We're going to bend the right elbow, bring the back of the hand to rest on the lower back, and then use that connection to peel the heart open a little bit more, taking the gaze up if it feels good. Keep pressing the ground away with that left arm, so try not to dump into that left shoulder. For 3, for 2, and 1. Lovely. Right hand comes back to meet left, resting onto that left knee if it's not there already. We're going to inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Again, if you need padding under that left knee, take the pressure off. Make the pose as accessible as you need. Maybe walk that right foot out, creating that space for the hips. Hands to heart. We're going to inhale, lengthen through the spine, tuck that belly button toward the back of the spine. And as we exhale, gently lower those hips toward the ground. Inhale, lengthen. Nice, strong core contraction here. Exhale, slowly lower. 3 more. So again, activating those hip muscles on the inhale and then releasing on that exhale. And again, just going as deep as feels good for you. Lovely little way of releasing into the hips, but still engaging them on that inhale. Last one. And exhale, release. Lovely. Bringing both hands back to the front of the mat, shifting that foot in if you need. Lift it off the left knee. We're going to draw that right foot back to meet left into our plank. Inhale for 3, for 2, and 1. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground, elbows in, roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground, draw those shoulders back. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away, lift the hips, downward dog. Again, dropping those heels down and walking it out, nice and slowly. Again, keep tucking that belly button in, creating that space for the fold. Pressing those hips upward. We're going to come to stillness here in our downward dog. Inhale, left leg up, bending the left knee and opening those hips to the left side of the room. Drawing that right heel down, lift the knee a little bit higher and see if we can really press the sole of that left foot toward the right as much as we can, creating that space into the front of the left hip. We should feel a nice little stretch along the left side of the body here and the front to a bit. Hold it here, lift the knee, drop the heel for 3, for 2, and 1. Back to 3-legged. Look forward between the hands. We're going to step that left foot into lunge. Drop the right knee down. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, hands together. Exhale, hands to heart. Both hands frame that left foot. And then gently step the right foot up to meet left. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up. Exhale, hands to heart. Well done. Last little flow, and then we bring it, we slow it all down. So again, meaning at the front, feet nicely grounded, hip width distance apart, hands to heart. Relax the breath. Notice if you've been holding that breath up into the chest, try to draw it deep down into the belly. So getting that full benefit, the full breath. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge, right hand stays grounded. Inhale, left arm up toward the ceiling, opening the heart. Come on to the right knee if you need. For 3, for 2, and 1. Left hand comes to meet right. Drop down onto the right knee. We're going to inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. From here, we're going to interlock the fingers into a little clasp and place that clasp just above the left knee. From here, we're going to press those hands into the leg as we lengthen through the spine and open the heart. And as we exhale, sink a little bit lower. So again, inhale, lengthen, press those hands into the leg. Exhale, gently lower. Last one. And exhale, release. We're going to keep the right hand on the leg. Inhale, the left arm up toward the ceiling. Twist as deeply as we can to the left. And then we're going to drop that left hand down to the back of the right leg. We might catch the outside of the right leg, and we might bring that right hand to catch the outside of the left leg, so we can really draw ourselves into a twist here. Taking the gaze over the left shoulder. Again, engaging the left shoulder muscle to open the heart for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly turning back to the front, bringing both hands either side of that left foot, coming off the knee, stepping left foot back to meet right. Inhale here in plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga if we're practicing. Keep those elbows in, roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground, draw those shoulders back. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away, downward dog, walk it out, nice and easy. Coming to stillness, inhale, right leg up, bend the right knee, open the hip. Again, draw that left heel down, draw the right knee up, press back through the sole of that right foot as far as we can to the left. For 3, lift the knee for 2, and 1. Right leg back into 3-legged dog with 4 between the hands.
Stepping that right foot into lunge with control, slow control. Drop down that left knee. We're going to inhale, both arms out, reaching up, hands together. Exhale, hands to heart. Both hands frame that right foot. And from here, we're going to gently walk those fingertips back toward the left knee and extend into that right foot. So getting a little bit into the hamstring here. Drawing the right toe toward the face, draw the chest forward. Again, if it feels anything other than a stretch into the belly of the muscle, just take a little bend to the knee. For 3, for 2, and 1. Creeping those hands back to the front of the mat, framing that right foot. We're going to gently step the left foot up to meet right, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center, hands extended up. Last side, exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge, left hand stays grounded. Drop to the left knee if you need to. Inhale, right arm up and open the heart, extending through the fingertips. Press the left foot into the ground and that left hand actively into the ground. Take the gaze up for 3, for 2, and 1. Right hand comes back to meet left, resting that left knee down. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Again, interlocking the fingers. Again, if you need to place a towel underneath that left knee. And then we're going to place those clasped hands onto just above the right knee, so not onto the kneecap itself. Draw the chest forward, draw the shoulders back, engage the core as we inhale. And as we exhale, sink those hips a little bit closer toward the ground. Right knee stays over the ankle. Inhale, lengthen and engage. Exhale, release and lower. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. 2 more. Again, keep those shoulders drawn back, keep those tummy muscles engaged. And just enjoy that lovely release into the hips, a little bit into the right hamstring here as well. Last one, release. From here, we're going to keep the left hand on the thigh, maybe working it toward the outer part of that right thigh here. We're going to inhale the right arm up, and as we exhale, twist as deeply as we can to the right, and then rest that right hand on the back of that left leg, maybe even catching hold of the outer part of the leg. Use that connection of the left hand and the right hand to draw or lever our way a little bit deeper into the twist. Maybe take a gaze over that right shoulder if it feels good. For 3, for 2, nice big belly breaths. And 1, gently release back to center. From here, placing both hands either side of the right foot. Coming off that left knee, we're going to step the right foot back to meet left into our plank. Inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga to the ground, elbows tucked in. Roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground, draw those shoulders back. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away, downward dog, walk it out, nice and easy, nice and slow. Lift those hips, press the chest down, engage those shoulders. Coming to stillness here in our downward dog, we're going to inhale the left leg up. Bend the left knee, open the hips to the left side of the room. Draw the right heel down, lift the left knee a little bit more, and really press back through the sole of that left foot. For 3, for 2, and 1. Back into 3-legged, look forward between the hands. We're going to step that left foot into lunge, dropping the right knee down gently. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. From here, bring the fingertips to the ground, and we're going to gently sit back toward the heel as we draw the left toe toward the face, getting a little bit of length in behind that left leg. And again, only going as deep as feels good. Try to keep the spine long so we're not curling totally. Draw the chest forward, draw those shoulders back, draw those toes toward the face. For 3, for 2, and 1. Gently walk those hands back to frame that left foot. And then when you're ready, we're going to gently step that right foot up to meet left, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rolling up to center, hands extended up. Exhale, hands to heart. Well done. We're going to finish with our frog pose this morning. So again, if you already know frog pose isn't so accessible child's pose or wide-legged child's pose is a variation. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to roll up my mat just to give my knees a little padding. Okay, so if you already have quite a padded surface, you might need to do that, or you might use a couple of cushions. You just don't want too much height either, so the legs aren't suspended off the ground. So I'm going to show you first, if you haven't done it with me before. So we're starting sitting back on the heels, so almost like we're setting up for a child's pose from seat. Okay, so we're going to bring the knees as wide as we can, sitting back onto the heels, toes together. And that might be as far as we go. If you have a towel or a cushion, you might put it out in front just in case you place the forehead down onto the ground in this pose. And then from here, we're going to walk the hands forward just until the hips are in line with the knees. So we're not sitting back on the heels anymore, but we're not pressing the hips forward to release to the ground. Okay, and even at this stage, you might work those knees out a little bit further. And then from here, we can come down onto the forearms. Just keep checking in that you're engaging the tummy muscles, and you'll actually feel more of a release as you engage to the tummy. And again, from here, we might extend those arms out in front and rest forehead down, either onto a block, a pillow, a cushion, a towel, and just take the strain out of the front of the body. So we're coaxing the chest down toward the ground, but we're keeping those tummy muscles engaged. Now, if you want to go into the full expression of frog pose, at this stage, if it feels good, you can bring those lower legs out so that we've got nice 90-degree angles at the knee and ankles, so into our frog pose legs. So shins are straight out. And then those feet need to be rested on the ground. So if you've got an extra bit of cushioning, you might feel those feet are hovering in space. Make sure to bring them in until they sit on the ground. Okay, so we don't want to feel that we're kind of holding it here. We're releasing more so into the pose. So again, lots of variations here. If all of that feels way too much this morning, but sometimes it might in the morning, you can bring those heels in and just come into a nice wide-legged child's pose. So sitting back toward the heels, resting the head down onto either piled hands or piled fists or onto a block. Okay, so lots of variations. So we're going to stay here for just about a minute, no longer. Okay, so I do want you to find a place first before we start that minute. Find a place that you're happy to kind of fall into as such. Okay, and when you're there, just rest the head. Make sure the head and neck are nice and relaxed. And again, we're not forcing it, we're just allowing gravity, the breath, the body, bring us a little bit deeper into those hips. So we're working a little bit deeper here into the fascia. So again, only would you do this if you've kind of warmed up nicely into the hips. So you wouldn't go get straight out of bed and go straight into a frog pose. It would be quite a shock to the system. And again, it's a lovely way of just kneading out, easing out the tissue. And particularly there in the practice, we did quite a lot of engagement into the hips. So again, just giving it a little release. But again, we don't need to stay here for too long, like anything over a minute. Again, notice if you're holding tension in the face, in the hands, not just the hips, and just try to release into that space on the exhale. So maybe you can take the focus off the hips and notice what's going on in the rest of your body. Are you clenching your jaw? Are you gripping your hands? And even as the pose goes on, you can always go a little bit deeper yourself, or if it's feeling too much, you can always back out of the pose. So again, listen to your body and even shift the hips forward and back until you find like, oh, that feels good, you know? So don't just be with the pose, but like make sure you're actually feeling something from it. So you're not just hanging out. Last couple of breaths here. But it's normal enough to feel a little bit crampy, particularly at the start of this pose. That's why I kind of recommend just shifting the hips about, just kind of kneading your way into it. Okay, so wherever we're at, if we're in full frog, first things first, we're going to draw those heels a little bit closer toward each other just to release the lower parts of the legs. Everybody is going to come up onto the forearms if they're not there already.
Even at this stage, if we're quite wide with the knees, we can gently shift them just a little bit toward each other, not the whole way. And then coming up onto the hands and then gently walking those hands back toward the body until we're sitting back onto the heels. Okay, so it's quite a deep little pose this, so you don't want to come out too suddenly. Reset the body here. If that feels good, then gently we're going to walk those knees toward each other. Nice and slowly, no sudden movements. And again, just reset here. If it feels good, that's good. And then we can roll our mats out if they're tucked in, and we're either going to finish sitting back on the heels, or you can come to an easy cross-legged. Sometimes it's nice to come to easy cross-legged again at the end of a class where we've been working with the hips, so you can really notice if there has been any little differences in that space. And again, as I say, you might feel that lovely release now, but it's really about engaging those muscles surrounding the hips to keep that space. So we're going to rest the palms open to the ceiling. Again, draw the chest forward, draw the shoulders back, engage the core. We're going to inhale, arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling. As we exhale, press the palms forward, release the breath, sigh it out, let it go. 2 more like that. Nice, big, full circles. And exhale, release. Last one. And then gently place the hands to heart center, press the palms together, close down the eyes, and just thank yourselves for creating a wee bit of space in your Friday morning to come to the mat, to look after yourselves, to create some lovely energy, strength, release, and hopefully take that with you into the long weekend. And thank you as always for sharing your practice with me.